Okay, we're rolling. November 15th, day of excitement. First, we'll move the music stand. I do want to do a little bit on our invention today, although I thought we covered it, most excellently the other day. I would like to look at your homework, which is due, I believe, 2 weeks from today. Okay?
I thought it was the Monday after. I thought it was the Monday today.
It was the last. Yes, it was. It was the last class. No, we're not doing that anymore.
Let's just make it the last day of class. How about that? 2 weeks from today.
Nice.
It's the last day of class?
We have
For us, we don't meet on Friday.
That's true.
Apparently, we get to choose what day we meet. Oh no, that's the student. I'm here Monday and Wednesday. Okay, so let's look at our homework and try to remember the time in December. Okay, so I'll put measure numbers up there so you can keep track. I think the first measure is really the 1 chord. I really believe that. So what are we trying to do is have a 16th note present at all times. So our compound rhythm or our composite rhythm is 16th note. So in the second measure, it appears that we begin with 5. Now, that means we need 4 16th notes on that first beat moving to the second beat. So we need that, right? Then above it, here we get our 16th notes there. Now, what they are suggesting is a C sharp, perhaps there. Now, what is going on with that? Okay, well, did I say this was 5?
Yes.
Was that right? Yes, that was right. So, man, got a little spaced out there. Sorry, big surprise. We have 13 people here out of 21. What percentage is that?
We're missing.
Isn't that like almost 2/3?
It's almost.
It's less.
So it's
It's
like
less than 62%.
Exactly.
62.
62%. That is our class quest for excellence today. Is
62%.
It's passing, but we don't get to continue. Well, let's stop.
13 or 21, like what?
Okay, now, what would this C sharp and this G imply? Okay, this implies that this would go to a 1 chord in the key of F, correct? But this implies that you might potentially go to a 6 chord. Does that make sense? Now, what would you be wrong? Another thing that could happen is if you move this through B flat to A, that would be okay. What is not going to be acceptable against the F? If we're thinking we're a 1 chord or a 6 chord,
G sharp.
C is not acceptable.
C is not acceptable. C is not acceptable. Chase, following along?
Yeah.
Okay. So here on the next measure, I think we have to have somehow, these don't have to be these notes, but that's the rhythm that we need to affect there. You made it damn near 6 minutes today. That was pretty good.
I
This
don't.
girl, Janie's not here, so he has no reason to be here.
Well, when Janie's not here, which is rare, I have to fight the inclination to just curl up in a fetal position and cry.
Aww.
And I don't even want to talk about Alec not being here, because,
That's really good.
that's pretty concerning. That one thing that has been true for the last 3 years, Alec's been sitting somewhere near the front,
Yeah.
and
In
somehow
corner.
he's just there every time.
He likes sitting in the corner.
You think, wow.
Maybe he's sick. Oh, he's sick.
It is going around.
The deaf.
I am
lady is
sick,
going
and I really
really
shouldn't
well.
be here right now, but I decided to share my sickness and love with everybody around me.
I already had it.
He
The-
all last on this place, and
what is it a sickness that we can describe, or is
It's
it
the
plague.
personal illnesses? As in stomach or crappy feeling coldy kind of
As
flu?
in sore throat.
you get these
head
black
throbbing.
spots on your skin.
Well, I feel just fine, thanks.
That's good to hear.
That's just fine.
No, that was just much of
I was trying to send talk along.
You can try to make me sick, but it'll fail.
I used to never get sick. And then
I have been sick
started
before.
getting sick.
Have you ever actually known me to be sick?
Yes.
In my freshman year, did you get sick?
I think the first day of winter semester, I called in sick. And that was weird. Did my little morning routines,
The only other time you missed class was when you got in that wreck.
Same deal. Wrecked the sports car.
Was it total?
Yes.
It was?
I loved that
What
car.
happened? What happened?
Well, I was pulling through my neighborhood, and right at the front of my neighborhood is the synagogue, and this guy turned right in front of me, and I was like, really, like that hard.
Did they determine it was his fault?
Yeah, it was his fault. But, the airbags didn't go off, nothing. Cars totally.
Why?
Both my cars
Bent the
totaled.
frame at 2 miles an hour.
Because it's a spot.
That's what happened to my first car.
I don't understand why it's turned.
Because it bent the frame, it cost more to fix that than the car was worth.
Yeah.
And so they paid off, and I bought my Solara, which I love too. The other car was great, but you'd absolutely have to come to a complete stop to get over a speed bump.
In the Solar?
No,
In that
in my Spider. And I had just put all-weather racing tires on it. They made such a difference. Like before, you could get a little squirrely in the curves, but the new tires, oh, so great.
And it was a
I feel
sports
like
car?
Yeah, it was a Toyota Spider. It was bright yellow. Actually, I think,
This is Toyota.
yeah, they don't make them
I thought they were
anymore.
Mitsubishi.
Hmm?
I thought Mitsubishi made
They do.
them. Okay. Different
Oh.
mark.
Porsche
Yeah,
and a mini Spider. This Spider with a Y.
Spy.
Spider. What the hell am I doing up here anyway? Okay. Does anybody need any throat spray? I know.
Gotta lube up the old voice.
Okay, let's try to keep this moving a little bit. Somebody's slowing everything down. Now the last beat says 565 of 5. Now what if this F here should kind of be treated as a what?
Oh, anticipation, suspension,
Kind of like,
Shouldn't it be this?
something like that.
well, I think it's probably a chord tone, but we still need something happening on the beat. So 565 of 5, we're gonna need a B natural somehow involved there. So this, we really only need this B here because we have these other notes here, right? So I'm just talking about the rhythm and just kind of general harmonies here. But you know, if you had a B here, you would have some strong motion to this, wouldn't you? Does that make sense? Oh, you know, I did grade your homework papers. Would you like them returned?
Oh, yeah, let me get that.
I thought you did pretty well. And yes, I realize most of you just arpeggiated things, but that's the way it goes. That's okay.
Thanksgiving breakfast is fun on Wednesday.
Yes.
We don't have class next Wednesday.
Archer can do research on majors.
Man, Charles, right on time, you're gone. Cannot be evaluated.
That's an 84. That's a 34.
We are
That's a
made.
84. Well, he's used to 34. I'm surprised.
Gabby, made 100.
I'm used to getting 30
Nope.
Okay.
Eric, turn in his paper.
Yeah, I did. Oh yeah. 73 as skid. You are.
Tiffany made an illegible 97.
I was hoping to recant that statement.
And Catherine, hanging in there. Megan made 100. She doesn't need class. Patrick didn't. Needs class. Steven. Erica. Hunter made a 97-ish. And sort of, oh my gosh,
So how does that go in the grade book? What number?
97. I kind of objected to the fourth.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
Do you get it?
Okay, I know you folks don't care, but I care. Chase made 100.
Oh, yeah?
Chase been out just a little bit of our time, but he made 100 on the. Yes! And I'm thinking, excellent teaching. And Berlinish.
Down for what?
David made a 97, but David at the very end. Here's the tracks. Here's David. Off the tracks.
Didn't raise the,
Okay,
until.
I have a few papers I haven't graded yet, but not of this set. Okay? Okay, I have some papers of yours of mine. Now we'll take care of those.
So now we're
Everybody who turned in a paper who's actually here, get their paper back. Okay. There weren't really any, the main problem was still kind of illegal intervals, you know, on strong beats or whatnot, but it was not, it was way better. We're doing much better, and I'm very pleased for that. Back on board. So, does everybody understand that these aren't the actual notes we're going to use here, okay? Well, here, maybe. I'm thinking honestly that an E has the best chance of being the right note there. Alrighty? Now, as we proceed, this measure here, do you know what it looks like? Now here's the thing, this is not really an invention. Do you understand that? There is some imitative stuff, but it's mainly the 3 16th notes on the end of the second beat. Yes. Okay, this is our homework, which is due in 2 weeks. Let's say, for the World Wide Web and everyone, that this that we are working on is our last and only homework assignment of this semester. It is due 2 weeks from today, which would make it the day after my wife's birthday, okay? That's the 29th of November is when this shoot and match is due. Now, what I would like to do is count it double, and then have a rolling grading system through the semester. I think many of us have improved greatly over the semester, and I think I'm probably going to take the last of the semester's grades or the best of. But you're gonna have to turn this one in. And I think you will be able to make a high A, B, or A just by writing 8 16th notes in every measure. Okay? Let's start with that. We've got to have a composite rhythm of 16th notes. Do I need to explain composite rhythm again? No. So what composite rhythm is if you add all of these notes up. So if I have this, literally, if I added in 2 8th notes, 16th notes like a horn part there, I would have a composite rhythm of 4 16th notes. Do you understand that? That's what I need for the entire piece, is a composite rhythm of 4 16th notes a measure. No, take that back. 8 16th notes a measure. Now the last measure here where it says 8 16th notes, this is what I want. Something thing like that. Do not go off on some new tangent. You could hold it kind of as a suspension or something. Let's see what Dr. Dirnt did back in the day, the Dirnt day. Someone has unplugged the piano again. I just don't know what I'll do. Change my investment strategies. No, that wouldn't be the thing to do. What did I do on the last one? Okay, did not. I did not do that, did I? I arpeggiated. Okay, so to give you an idea, I did that poorly. I did that poorly. Now the C sharp. No, that's not what I wrote. Now what I did was vary my motion from 8th notes against 16th notes to 16th notes against 8th notes to occasionally, like here, 16th notes together. All right? So as we get to the second line, I really believe sorry, who did that? So it's sort of badly chord melodying that. It's mainly 1 and 5 with some chromatic alterations. Do we have any questions about that? We are not doing an arrangement this semester. The beginning, the next semester, we are. Any questions about that? I'm really excited about doing the arrangements. I just didn't feel like I was going to be able to teach it between now and then. Okay, I would like to go to our invention and spend a few minutes with that. Even though we did beat the goody out of it the other day, pretty much. Do we all have this? Do we have the A minor invention? Do we have the A minor invention? Who is that? Okay, this is what I would like to do. It's a beautiful day. I'd probably really like to get outside. I mean, that's what I'd really like to do.
Let's go.
Oh, tonight at 7 o'clock at the bell tower is Tyler Brandon's honors thesis, which is a 4-movement piece and a fanfare. So what happens at 7 o'clock, the bell tower chimes, bong, 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 bong. Ba-da-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun-dun. Bong, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then the fanfare thing, and then comments will be made. Now it's in memory of President dead Moulton, ex-president, former president, and now deceased Gordon Moulton. His wife is going to be there, and this is an original composition by Tyler. It's quite ear-friendly. I think you'll like it. Anybody in this? Nobody? You were not at rehearsal. Yes,
I wasn't the first one.
I was there.
I was at the first rehearsal, and I wasn't there because he moved it from the date that he originally planned it to be on, which I had been canceled.
It was fun seeing Dr. Gringer playing the third horn part on trombone.
He's doing that for the concert.
Yeah, you know, it's easy enough with today's technology to print out a score that he really wants to compose. Maybe he's done that by now.
Maybe he just wanted to transpose it because it's fun.
Yeah, I think that's what he wanted to do, and I think he really had it the second time. It's really quite a nice piece. I think it's a lot of fun. It's for brass, let's see, like 3 trombones, euphonium, 2 tubas, 3 trumpets, 3 horns, and a lot of percussionists. So, it's pretty fun. Tips out. Wow. So I need to do. See, I'm a technical guy. I would never drop a mic. I just find that offensive. But I'll drop that marker. I find that totally offensive, the whole mic drop thing. Not working in my studio anymore to be dropping mics. Put a little lipstick on it, that's fun. Dropping it, no good. Oops. What was I doing? Okay, the A minor invention. I think I want to point out, for the most part, how simple the harmony is here. Here. 5. What have we done now? It seems like we've modulated to C, doesn't it? I think the modulation happened here. On measure 3, that's 1, then 4 becomes 2. It becomes 5, 7 in the key of C. 1, 6, 2, 5, 5. 1, 6, 4, 2, 5, 1. Could you hear any of that?
Yes.
Did it make sense?
Yeah. It was there.
You could all do that too, right?
Sure.
Okay. Great. So now something else. Anybody know what key we're in now? Minor, yes, E minor. Now, when did we decide to be in E minor? Here's where we begin the second part, right before measure 7. Still in C. 5, 1, 5, 5, 1. That seems to want, what is this chord? It starts on 5. 1. That being natural there really changes life for everyone. It's a game changer. Because it makes us want to go to A. But now comes 5 up 5 in the key of C. 1, 5 up 5. Okay, here's 5 of 5. The D chord. This is on measure 11. But here the D sharp changes that chord from this to this, which is a diminished chord. And it's a diminished 7th chord of B. So Bach takes a dominant chord, changes it by a half step to become a diminished chord, which becomes 5, and then the second beat just becomes 5, 7 in the key of E minor. Now, let us think about measure 11 and 12, because I think it has some of the more interesting harmonies in its sequencing. Let's pick a measure. This is measure 11. So we have this. So we have F sharp and A, or really F sharp against F sharp and A, and then we have this. So here we've maybe modulated to G, and maybe we've stayed in C, the secondary function. Let's go back. Measure 7, we're in C. I think we're still in C in measure 9, even though we've gone to A minor.
You saying even though the chord's A minor, it's still in key of C?
I think so. Like in measure 9, do you want to say the third and fourth beat are 5 of 5 or 5 in the key of G? Okay,
I don't see it.
Well, no, maybe not, because big cadence is
we
on.
do have an F sharp in the next measure. So maybe it does modulate to G. I think where that happens, let's look at this sequentially, okay? Measure 9. Okay, measure 9, we have this chord, A minor, going to an A minor 4-2 chord right there, right? So A minor 4-2 is going to drive us to D, right? Yes, just say yes.
Yes.
So right before that, here begins our sequence measure 9. G7 draws us to C. Now that okay, if I were gonna choose, I would say in measure 9, the A minor chord there is 6 in the key of C becoming 2 in the key of G. The next chord, 5-7 in the key of G. Next chord, 1 in the key of G. Next chord, beat 3 and 4, measure 10 is 1, no, 4 in the key of G. And then the next measure is 5 in the key of G. So measure 10, you have 1, 4, 5, until the D sharp. So the D sharp is what changes everyone's attitude. All right? The D sharp is what points us towards E minor. Now, is it truly E minor? This is 5-7 in E minor. Sorry. That seems like a sequence to me. Does it to you? So here's the sequence. That's definitely E minor there as we turn the page. So we start seemingly in E minor, but immediately go to C to A, D to B to G, C to A to D. Turn the page. E major, E minor. Guess what's going to happen now? Bunch of sequences. So in E minor, immediately the B flat changes that to head towards what chord? It also adds a C sharp, doesn't it? So we start thinking we're in E minor, but instead this E minor chord changes by half step to C sharp fully diminished 7, which is 7/7 of D. I can play it a little softer. Which, that 7/7 of D ends up being a 5/7 of D minor by this, by that falling part, and it does get us to D. Immediately Bach changes that into a fully diminished 7th chord. Which is going to what? Did someone say C? And looky where it goes. Now this time Bach doesn't do that, doesn't he not do that? This time it's different. Do you see how that chord structure is just slightly different? But the F sharp leads us to F sharp, D sharp, A, D sharp, F sharp, A. Gets us to B, doesn't it? Which gets us to, supposed to be A now, isn't it? But instead of going down to A, he goes back up. Remember this? Now, Fun City here. This is the most interesting measure. A, not A, D7. Is doing the dominant 7th chord along with the 9th, which could be a fully diminished 7th chord on G sharp. So he's producing this against, which is very juicy indeed. It up now as a sequence. Diminished 3rd. Oh, that was so disappointing. Okay, in a lot of ways this is very simple, but just try to do it yourself and it seems to be impossible. I don't really, you know, I taught the sophomores an extra 3 minutes today. I made them pay a time and a half for that, so really I paid for like
4.5.
Thank you. So I don't want to teach anymore, so you want to just sit here for 5 minutes so everybody gets their full dollar value? Or shall we pretend the bell rang early today?
I mean, either way it go, you make your money.
That's the beauty of being a tenured full professor. Other than, never mind, I'm not even gonna go there. Have a wonderful day. Oh, you can do better than that.